Frankenstein, Chapter 2. My friend took me to his home, and I was put to bed. After that, I was sick for a very long time. It was months before I was able to speak. But still, I would not talk about the monster or even think of him, for when I did, I got sick again. But you must want to know what happened to my creature, and so I will tell you. Later, if I am still alive, you shall learn how I found out. The monster did not stay on in my house. Oh no, he left soon after me in the dead of night. He was a giant and a newborn child at the same time. He knew nothing, not who he was or where he was going, but the moon overhead was like a big balloon. He reached for it and could not touch it. He followed its soft light into the woods, and soon he was lost in a deep forest. The wind blew in the trees, and ice-cold rain began to fall. I had thrown my jacket at the monster, and he still had it, but that was not enough. He shivered in the cold and damp. After a while, he saw the light of a fire. He did not know what a fire was, but he could feel the warmth, and the fire was pretty too. It changed colors and danced in the air. There was a man sitting beside it. As the thing came nearer, the man heard a noise behind him. He turned and looked straight into the thing's oozy yellow eyes, into a face he could see through to the bones below. My creature was smiling, but the man did not see a smile. He saw the jawbones moving and the giant teeth of long dead bodies shining in the firelight. He tried to scream, but the scream wouldn't come. In terror, he got to his feet and ran. The creature did not know why the man had been so afraid. Perhaps there was something that he should be afraid of as well, so he ran away too. It was getting light now. Day was starting, and as he walked on, he grew hungrier and hungrier. But he did not know what food was. Then he saw a little animal eating berries from a tree. He took some also, and that made him feel better. A deer showed him how to drink water from a brook. After a while, he heard the chirping of birds. It made him happy, and he tried to sing the way they did, but his own sounds were loud and rough. He wasn't sure where they came from, and they scared him, so he became silent and hurried away. Soon snow began to fall. The snow went on until it covered all the berries and the nuts. The air grew colder too, and now there was no warm place to rest. For 3 days and nights my monster walked on and on. At last he came to a tiny village. It was supper time. He could smell cooking everywhere. He could see the smoke of warm fires coming from the houses. But should he go into one of them? Was there something to be afraid of? He couldn't wait any longer. There was a large house nearby. From it came small voices laughing. He opened the door. The children inside stopped playing at once. Their eyes grew wide. Their mouths fell open. He was only trying to be friends when he put out his hands to them, but they screamed with fright. Their mother's eyes closed, and she fell to the floor. A boy climbed out of the window and up to the roof. "It's the devil! It's the devil!" he shouted at the top of his voice. People came running from everywhere. The church bells clanged. Shouts filled the air, and the monster was frightened by it all. He turned and ran out of the house, but now the whole town was there. Some people could not stand to look at him. They screamed and ran away. Others just stood there. They were shaking so hard that they couldn't move. But then a man cried out, "The boy is right. It is the devil." "Drive him away! Drive him away!" screamed the boy. The man picked up a big stone and threw it. It missed, but soon the air was filled with other flying things. My monster was hit and hit again. He tried to get away, but people were all around him now, throwing stones and logs and bricks. Men jabbed at him with long pointed things. An old woman threw a pot of boiling water at his face. Suddenly he howled with a sound that was wilder than any beast. He tore a tree out of the ground and swung it at them. Everyone jumped out of the way. He threw down the tree and rushed out of the town. The people chased him at first. Some of them had guns by then, and they were firing at him, but he ran like the wind and got away from them. He was far from town, but he was hurt and in pain. He wanted to lie down, but there was no place, and snow was falling again. Just then he saw smoke rising over some treetops. He walked past the trees and came to a little farmhouse. How warm it would be in that little house! How he wanted to go inside! But there would be people in it, and he was so afraid of people now. Then he noticed something else. Right up against the house was a tiny hut. Its roof was too low for even a child to stand inside. Perhaps an animal lived there. He sneaked up and looked inside. It was empty. He crawled into it and lay down. There was no wooden floor, just earth, but it was dry. My creature had gone through so much since the day that I made him, but now he closed his eyes and went to sleep.